Ken, as we talked about, the outsourcing of those type of things, you'd mentioned a custom plan and outsourcing. Why do you believe that most CPAs do not have a clear plan developed by someone who specializes in like engineering a BOSS or business operating system? And then secondly, what holds CPAs and other owners back from developing the systems they need?
Yeah, so that's kind of easy. It's because I believe most CPAs are really focused on and just busy with getting their work completed. And most CPAs, as you probably know, are very analytical. So we tend to spend a lot of our time analyzing versus executing. And the analytical personality, although very necessary in the industry, it's kind of a double-edged sword because that personality really does hold us back from moving fast on opportunities and growing quickly. Also, to most smaller CPA firms with CPAs with that personality being analytics, growth generally translates into more work for the CPA, and that's not necessarily perceived as a good thing.
It's interesting you say that because in working with all different industries and being blessed to be an international speaker and author traveling all around the world, CPAs are unique because when you ask them, would you like to grow your business, there's this pause, and it's like, well, and it's almost like CPAs in some ways think like employees that, more business is going to be more work and is going to be more hassles. I don't know if I want more work and hassles. I don't want more work and hassles. So they want to grow their practice, but like a business owner a true business owner doesn't equate more work, or more business with more work. Mike, why do you think that it's so hard for CPAs to kind of think about it like a business owner? They think about it more like an employee perspective that, hey, I don't want more owner or I don't want more business because it's going to be more work. And what can be done and how can the 30-minute strategy session, Mike, help them with that?
Well, I think for me, Mark, and for all the years that we called on CPAs, I think the thing that's interesting to me is a CPA survives by getting their clients to outsource business to them. So the idea being is that you don't want your customers to do a lot of accounting work. They may do some bookkeeping work, but not a lot of accounting work. You want them to outsource that to you. You want to be a resource to your clients. I heard Ken say that when he introduced his company. So they have this outsource to me mentality, but they don't have I need to outsource to grow mentality. I just find that interesting.
That is cool. Ken, talking about outsourcing, these are some of the things, and you can kind of hit on any one of them. You had somebody else come in that engineered a master plan, which is like the air traffic controller for your business, the action vision. You're in selecting which executive virtual assistants you should work with, business and working systems for most of placing of the ad for your employees, screening, onboarding, and mentoring of individuals based on their personality, newsletters and automated follow-up systems, client satisfaction, and then systems for referral development. And you had a number of your employees that have been with you for a long, long time that retired all pretty close to one another. Why do you think this has been so helpful, Ken, to outsource these things to other individuals rather than you trying to do them yourself?
Yeah, first I'm looking at this list. It's impressive. I didn't realize we outsource that much, but we do. These are the things that I always constantly think about, have on a to-do list, and had in years and could never get done. So there was really no option. The option was never get it done or outsource it. So finally decided we need to outsource these things, and it worked really well. And I think, most business owners or CPAs, small CPA firms, and even large CPA firms, they are doing more outsourcing. I think they need to do more because there's just so much work to do, and the CPA's mentality is to do the work, not to necessarily always outsource it. The first inclination is, get it done, do it internally. Maybe there's a little bit of a control issue there in servicing the client and making sure that the client's happy. But I think what a lot of times is missed is understanding or seeing what the clients really need, and they can't provide all those services because they're so busy, and they really do need to outsource to either free themselves up so they can perform those services, and other things can be outsourced that they don't have to do, because otherwise those things will just not get done, and the client really won't get the advantage of probably the highest and best use of the CPA's strengths.
And some other things that you didn't originally realize that you could do, but the EVAs helped you do it is, really looking at, people and personnel, management, marketing for both new clients and employees, client list development and oversight, key report development and oversight. So your EVAs are really, focused in now in being able to, where they have profiles on each team members. They're doing, I think, quarterly reviews or twice a year reviews, something like that, on employees. They're helping the employees, drive their ideas forward and giving feedback. And that's really taken, a lot of burden off of you, things that should be done that often didn't get done or maybe weren't consistent on it. The 5-time management freedom fighters really delegate, systematize, contract out, hire someone, and or partner with someone. Any, thoughts on that? And then the onboarding, you have an onboarding system that, even worldwide CPA firms, huge firms, thousands of employees, you have a more advanced onboarding system based on an individual's personality, based on, what's their life vision, what's their strengths and weaknesses, what's their goals, how do you integrate their life vision into the company's life, overall vision. Any thoughts on why you invest the time, the resources, and focus into that, and why it would be so important and critical, to other CPA firms and any business really?
Yeah, I mean the outsourcing and the EVAs, it definitely has freed up a lot of time. Like before, I would just every resume I would look at. Now I might not look at any resumes and only look at 1 or 2 versus 50. That's a huge time savings right there. The process we have on the recruitment side is, getting someone else and other people involved versus just myself. So even though you're spending some time, your time gets cut down tremendously. And so that's one thing, the time. The other thing is trying to funnel all those people to get the best candidate. That was something that CPAs, quite frankly, they're not recruiters, right? We got thrown in this position because we do our job really well, we service the client well. Do we know how to recruit? Well, we do the best we can. We're not recruiters. We don't know personalities unless we learn it. So you really do need somebody else. You need to help you through that process, because hiring someone who doesn't fit into the system is actually probably worse than not hiring anyone at all sometimes. So all the things that the EVAs have helped out with, recruitment, huge, onboarding, huge. We've got a structure in place now, a process. It's really impressive. We've got really good feedback from new team members that came from other places that said they didn't have a process, or they didn't have any kind of onboarding like we had. So that was pretty good to hear.
And it's interesting because you're utilizing personality mastery as the DNA for people. There's 4 major personalities, so it's really simple, but yet it's also very thorough. The past president of Century 21, largest real estate franchise in the world, he said he's seen every personality assessment under the sun, and he's never seen anything like it so fast. Actually, in 17 seconds, you can identify somebody's personality. And once you know their personality, you know their strengths, weaknesses, what they like, what they don't, turns them on, turns them off, if they're married, who they're married to, conflict marriage. You know more about them in 17 seconds than they know about themselves. Mike, why do you think that's so important, not only for CPAs, but just for any business to go ahead and have systems in place that really leverage people's personalities in the most effective way?
Well, I have 2 comments, Mark. Number one, for people listening on the call that don't know what an EVA is, that's an executive virtual assistant. So, we tend to talk in acronyms. So anyway, that's what that is, somebody. And then the other thing that I just heard from Ken that I found interesting to anybody that's listening, if you're thinking that you need more employees or that you're overworked, the first thing you probably need to do is outsource to some company that helps you get that sort of lined out so that you really know where you're going. And you may not need the employee, So you may not need the 60 to 80 to $100,000 employee. You may be able to outsource to some service for far less than that, can make your current staff more productive. And to do that, you really have to know the personalities of that staff. And that's again why I think it's so important, because you don't motivate a driver the same way you motivate somebody else.
Right, right. So for those that are listening, going through this, which of these four shapes would you tend to like the most? A cube, a pyramid, a wavy line, or a ball? A cube, a pyramid, a wavy line. I know it's kind of a strange question. Can you actually ask your clients, both existing clients and new clients, this question? Like, did you have any fear or concern that they thought you'd be strange? How are you implementing this in your business?
Yes, they were very impressed, actually. I kind of slide it in. We're talking and just, hey, by the way, got another question for you if you don't mind, 2 quick questions, and this is just helps us to service you better. And they were, oh, that's great. We like that. We like to be serviced better. And we ask them those questions, and we get their personality. And sometimes so tell me, what am I? What does that mean? And we tell them a little bit, not get too far into it. And sometimes they're just like shocked, like, wow, that's awesome. Like, I can't believe you're doing it. Almost like, geez, that's really over and above what my past current CPA is doing, or other vendors. So I think we've got really good feedback, more impressive, very impressed by it, so we continue to do it.
And the new mobile app, life-gps.org, through, again, Life Mastery is a nonprofit organization. There's no cost to take the test. You can set it up and have company channels or individual or organizational channels. And what I love about it is on the right side you'll see, like, it grids out individuals' personalities on your team. Like, it's really, really cool. Then you can select, so Ken can select himself and, maybe Deb or maybe Tony, some other team members, and it'll map out his personality, and then it'll map out that employee's personality, or it could be, a customer's personality. And then there's 1-minute videos that you can go through, and you can take a look at your personality versus your client's personality or your employee's personality or your hiring prospects, or you can do it spouse or children, personal or professional. And it really is insightful in being able to understand, the differences based on people's personalities, so a lot of fun. The next piece is the DNA for Business, the 530 grid, and being able to look at that. So there's 5 areas, there's 5 areas in every business, doesn't matter what business we're in. There's marketing, how do you generate more and better leads? Pre-sales, once you get a lead, what do you do with it? Area 3 is the sale, that's the yes or the no. Area 4 is servicing, and so how do we create a unbelievable, amazing servicing experience so they refer, all their friends, family, people that they know to us. And then area 5 is client or relationships for life. It's like a pipeline with 5 pipes. The thing that's interesting is if you look at the left-hand side, often the reality is we have pipes that aren't in alignment. So as a CPA, it's obvious, like, you got to have all your pipes in alignment. Otherwise, you're wasting marketing dollars or sales dollars or servicing dollars or client for life dollars. So you're wasting dollars. So we're only as strong as what our, smallest pipe is, and that's really where the action vision, a lot of people will call individuals certified in action vision as, executive coaches or business coaches or whatever, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they're really more like, architects or engineers, where they engineer and they look at the different pieces. Ken, any thoughts on the action vision system and how that engineering or architecting has helped you not only in the business side, but in the recruiting and the development side as well?
Sure, yes. So that 530 grid, in my mind, it's like a guide or a map that you can follow to accomplish your growth, the business growth, or solve really many business challenges, not just growing or getting new clients. It's not easy to grow or solve business challenges sometimes. So if you have a well laid out plan or map, chances are, you'll be more successful in obtaining your goals. The action vision plan, again, a plan. Having a plan is huge. And a lot of firms our size and CPAs, again, we're kind of so focused on the day-to-day and the work, and that we really lack the resources to have a well laid out long-term plan, and typically we don't, or they don't. So I think the action vision and the 530 grid kind of open your eyes and make you really see that how necessary it is, and don't just keep waiting and waiting until the last day and think it's something that you can implement and do in a couple of days or a couple of weeks or a couple of months. It takes a long time. So I think that's the real benefit of it.
It's interesting when Tom Kuntz, past president of Century 21, and then also Peter Miles, past board member of BMW, past president of Rolls-Royce, when they saw the 530 grid, they're like, oh my gracious, this is like the holy grail. It'll work for, a child doing a lemonade stand, or it'll go ahead and work for $1 billion worldwide company. And so it can scale up. So whatever size you're at, if you're just brand new CPA practice or brand new business, you can benefit from it. Or if you're a huge company, all of those things. Tom said, I wish I had that, years ago, because there's things even in worldwide companies. He said, Mark, we missed totally Area 2 pre-sales, and we totally didn't have areas for, or didn't have resources for Area 5. So the 530 grid is something that's extremely powerful, and it helps us to have like a roadmap, like Ken said, and in the hands of somebody who's certified in the action vision, they can engineer it, find out where the gaps are, and then be able to plug those in a very, powerful way. What's the next step? We would encourage you, from what I've seen, what Ken's seen, what Mike has seen, go through and get the white paper. Go to just go to https://clarity.dna4success.com. So clarity.dna4success.com. And then there's a special gift offer that just click on that. There's no cost. And again, Life Masteries Institute and Legacy Partners, they're nonprofit organizations. So they have team members, they have staff that, will go ahead and do that 30-minute strategy session for you. They also have, business owners like Ken or Mike or myself that are certified, and we volunteer to do 30-minute strategy sessions. We've been helped a lot. We want to help other people. Mike, why do you think people, it's 30 minutes. There's 10,080 minutes in a week, and it's free. And, nobody's selling anything. You're going through, looking at it. This is the engineered clarity process. What is the most clear, things in Life Masteries? Like 97% of everything they have, they're nonprofit, they give away for free. Why do you think people are reluctant, Mike, to go ahead and do the 30-minute, and what would be your suggestions to get them to take action on that?
Well, I think most people are reluctant, Mark, because the marketplace has hardened them to the fact that sometimes free is not free. So I think when you say that, I think people are still a little worried about that. So my encouragement to anybody listening is this one is really a gift. It is truly a free analysis, and will tell you things in your business that you need to work on, whether you outsource that or do it yourself. And I think that kind of advice is priceless. So why it's free on one side, what you get on the back side is priceless. So I would suggest anybody take it. It's really a non-threatening 30-minute session, okay, that's very insightful. So I would suggest that they do that. It's where we started to begin to understand how to grow our business, and mistakes that we were making was in that 30-minute session. And, we started some of that on our own, and then realized that we couldn't do it on our own, and sought coaching and help. But again, I think you got to take some time to step back and go, I really may not know how to do this myself. And it's that first concession that you may need help that will then let you do that 30-minute session.
Nice. So if you're listening to the rebroadcast, connect. If you have any questions, connect with the individual who passed this along. Obviously, they care about you. They want to help you. They want to impact you. So connect with them. Or if you have any other questions, you can feel free to call the toll-free number at 888-230-2300. That's 888-230-2300. Or outside the U.S., you can call 630-393-9909. That's 630-393-9909. Thanks so much, Ken and Mike. Appreciate you. Always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. God bless and have an amazing day. Bye-bye.